Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the ultimate BC Poly Hot Stove in more ways than one. I am your usual co-host, Maclean Kay. I'm the editor-in-chief of the Orca, and I apologize in advance for my voice.
Oh, you sound husky and throaty. I love it.
That's right. I'm like Kathleen Turner.
That's right.
A little under the weather, but that's not going to stop us delivering the ultimate episode of A Hot Stove this year. Jordan Baton couldn't be with us this year. He started his Christmas break early, so I'm joined by a very special guest. Let's start. Let's start by establishing your pronouns. You prefer Santa Claus, Kris Kringle, Father Christmas?
They all work.
Santa?
They all work. Please, but call me Santa. And Maclean,
Santa.
Unlike certain people holed up in the Premier's office, I am not afraid to sit down with you for 20 minutes and talk about the world of BC
in the first
politics.
minute in the pool, you can cash in your ticket.
It's been all the buzz. I was working on my sleigh, and I was listening to CKNW this week, and there's that young, handsome Mikey Smith, who's always on the nice list, and he's railing away about the injustice of the Orca being left off the Premier's interview tour. And I agree. I find that I put John Horgan on the naughty list for that transgression and many others, but we'll get to that shortly.
You bring up that's why we're here. We wanted to give BC Poly followers a glimpse 1 week early into who's on your naughty and who's on your nice list. I think you've agreed that it'll be 5 of each.
True.
And I think we should end on a nice. So why don't we start with the first person or thing on your naughty list?
The naughtiest of the naughty. Just kidding. This is in no particular order, but David Eby. First of all, Mrs. Claus has clipped out the picture of David Eby in his yoga pants, and I'm not sure what she's doing with that photo, but I am not comfortable with that, Mrs. Claus. Not cool at all. I don't need to see my attorney general.
The yoga pants.
I do not need to see my attorney generals contorting and bending, much like he was bending the law this year, trying to make it work for his anti-resource agenda. But fortunately, the court slapped him down time after time. Bad, Mr. Eby. Quit wasting taxpayer dollars. But let us not forget proportional representation. It was, I believe it crept into this year, although Santa's memory is going, to be honest.
We got the Elections BC report just a week or so ago,
correct,
so it's still topical.
And definitely showed that the whole thing was a waste of time and money. The young people decided that Prop Rep was neither woke nor lit enough to show up and vote. The old-timers like me, we were out there casting our ballots because we prefer strong, stable majority governments that have been proven through the test of time, through the greatest parliamentary system in the world, the Westminster parliamentary system. That's right. Santa endorses whatever the current system is. He does not like change.
Presumably you sent in your ballot from somewhere near Atlin, is where I'm going to guess.
Exactly. Now, and then one more thing. Santa has had to be insuring the sleigh for when we come into British Columbia. I cannot use rideshare in British Columbia as I do in some of the other places, because apparently only Tofino and Whistler need it. Perplexingly, only Tofino and Whistler need
good
rideshare.
Tofino and Whistler.
God bless them in Tofino. I'm sure they're going to do big business. Anyways, ICBC, I had to insure the sleigh, and would you believe my premiums went up 47% because I have to insure my L's, a number of them who are young and don't have the long, clean driving record that I have. But, from time to time, they take the sleigh out in testing, so I have to insure it for them. And David Eby is costing me a fortune, and he is on the naughty list. Get ready for your lump of coal this year. And that's right.
Wow.
I still give out coal, even though, greenhouse gases, etc.
Well, it's the ultimate symbol of naughty now, isn't it? It's even more appropriate.
It is.
Now, we said we do.
He'll get his coal. He'll get his coal, and Andrew Weaver and George Heyman will cluck their tongues. Cluck their tongues, they will. All right.
Tisk. Well, you started with a naughty. Let's go with someone on your nice list.
All right, on my nice list. Now, Santa does not love red tape. Santa's a bit of a libertarian, likes to kind of do his thing. and I want to say, nowhere is there more red tape than at city halls around this province. They are terrible. Look at Vancouver. Look at the nonsense in Surrey. Oh, just gives Santa a headache. But there's one mayor. Actually, there's 3 mayors who are kind of Santa's favorites. One is Dale Bumstead, honorable mention on this list, but definitely a nice on the nice list from Dawson Creek. I'll come to another mayor in a second, but Stu Young. God bless Stu Young.
The mayor of Langford.
The mayor of Langford. How does this man get elected in the commie hotbed of the South Island is beyond me. But he's running an excellent operation there, one that is not top-heavy, and one that is not beholden to all the unions like, say, Victoria or Saanich or North Saanich or East-West Saanich or North Saanich Jr. and all the other Saaniches. He's doing his best. That Langford, they just ignore all of the Victoria craziness. They just drive that South Island economy. Now somehow he's getting provincial government offices to rent there, which cracks Santa up because they're moving offices to Langford, which is about as an un-NDP hotbed as there can be on the island. Good for you, Stu Young. Keep up the good work.
As there could be on the island is probably the operative phrase there. Let's go back to your naughty list. Number 2 on your naughty list. What do you have?
Doug Donaldson.
The Minister of Forestry.
If Premier Horgan keeps his promise to Keith Baldry, and who would break a promise to Keith Baldry with that luscious hair?
Not me.
We may see a cabinet shuffle sooner than later, and I'm going to predict that Doug Donaldson will be out-ski as Forest Ministry because he has done nothing but fiddle while the forests have burned, and the industry is terrible. Plus that rural dividend, robbing the rural dividend, it makes no sense at all. Shame on the NDP for not doing more for forestry. And frankly, Claire Trevena, stop your fact-finding missions. Get to work on fixing these problems now.
Well, it certainly would be a surprise if there isn't a shuffle, and you got to admit that's you might have a good call there. That does seem to be one minister who's likely to find a different file in the near future. From naughty to nice.
No, nice. Yes, nice. Yes, my second mayor. Nice. Mayor number 2 on the list. I love her. She's a fantastic lady. Great person, Canada's Energy Politician of the Year, Laurie Ackerman, Mayor of Fort St. John, the energetic city. God bless what she's doing up there. Fought for the Site C Dam, fought for the natural gas resources, fought for oil and gas in that province, in that part of the province. Responsible resource development. FSJ is booming under her leadership, and no BS from her, no spin, no unspun. She just does what she does every day for FSJ and for responsible resource development.
The ultimate episode.
Unspun. They are on my nice list as well. They are at least my third favorite Orca podcast, behind, of course, the great BC Poly Hot Stove, which I'm pleased to be on right now. I don't know why Santa's doing his bad on Andrew Weaver impression right now. I apologize for that. And of course, the Business Beat. I also prefer greatly because, 2 minutes of business in the morning, that's all Santa can handle with all the headlines going on.
That's a lot. It's good. It's good to have it every day. That's 2 naughty, 2 nice. We should hit, who's the third on your naughty list?
The naughtiest city politician of them all. And let me tell you, there are some Grinches out there. Ben Isit, I don't know how to pronounce his name. I forget every time.
Which is it?
Ben, is it terrible? If it's a terrible idea in Victoria, it's come from Ben Isit's desk, the worst city councillor in the province of British Columbia. And that's saying a lot because Santa has been keeping an eye on Surrey. He whines about Christmas. He whines about Poinsettias. He whines about Remembrance Day. He whines about those cute little horses and carriages taking people around. He whines about his compensation package. Well, congratulations, Ben Isit. You whined yourself right onto Santa's naughty list. And asterisk to the voters of Victoria who keep putting this guy in. Santa is going to hand out election brochures before the next election in your stockings. And let's fix this Ben Isit problem once and for all.
Well, I'm going to guess that people who try and vote themselves a 50% pay raise are usually trending towards the naughty list.
That is not a good look, especially when you've made a deal. You get elected, you basically sign a contract with voters for 4 years. Just do the work. I don't really understand what his issue. And picking on poinsettias. Poinsettias grown by the good boys and girls at QP. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. It's like he doesn't even know his own target audience anymore. Trying to gouge the Remembrance Day, the veterans for money for policing. It's just one embarrassment after another. Sir John A. Macdonald fell. So did Ben Isit's chances to be on the nice list.
Well, maybe he can get back to the business of Victoria City Council, like regulating Canada's cruise ship industry.
Well, this is a good point. It's not like Victoria has solved every problem and council is just hitting on all cylinders. There's potholes. There's weird bike lane alignments. There is storefronts closed. Santa was shocked the last time he and Mrs. Claus walked hand in hand down the streets of Victoria, all the closed stores. And those are real boys and girls who aren't going to have great Christmases this year because they've gone bankrupt or they've lost money on a business venture. Ben Isit, focus on the job at hand, quit doing all this nonsense and try to build your own profile and do what's right for the people of Victoria. That's how you get on the nice list in Santa's land.
That's an opinion you share with our Premier, John Horgan, casting a hairy eyeball at a couple of the bike lanes here in Victoria. This is true. That's
Maclean, don't try to pick fights with me by making me agree with John Horgan. You're hanging by a thread on this list.
I'm sorry. Well, let's go back to nice. Let's talk nice.
All right, nice list. I gotta say, Jody Wilson-Raybould and Jane Philpott, two women who stood up against the biggest power base in the country, stood up against the Laurentian elite, stood up against, you like that, huh? Santa's never said Laurentian elite before, it's exciting. Stood up against the media powerhouses, stood up against the Prime Minister's office, stood up against the biggest company in Quebec and said, nope, this isn't right, we're not going to do it. At great personal cost, especially to Jane, who was a wonderful lady, great cabinet minister, and deserved re-election in Markham. It's a shame she didn't get it. Jody Wilson-Raybould did squeak out a victory, although they're taking her kicking and screaming from her office. That's lowered her a slight notch on the nice list, but those two definitely deserve it. They stood up for what's right at great personal cost.
That's true. What more can you ask for someone on your nice list?
All right, exactly. Well, and the naughty list is sort of related to this.
Well, let's hear it. Let's
take the flip side. On one side, you have two women who stood up for principle, and on the other side, you have Justin Trudeau and Bill Morneau. Good Lord, if I ran the North Pole the way these two are running Canada's finances, there would be no gifts for anyone any year. We'd be broke. We'd be out of business. It would be terrible. There's some shocking things. Every year, Bill Morneau has missed his deficit target. He's overshooting it by tens of billions of dollars now. They don't seem to care whatsoever about fiscal conservatism. It is a shocking turn from the party that gave us Paul Martin and Jean Chrétien in the 1995 budget, the best budget in the history of Canada. Paul Martin would be rolling in his grave, except that he is alive and well and on my nice list. Yep. He has a lifetime nice list, by the way, because of that 1995 budget. He's like a life member of the nice list. He can do whatever he wants now.
And also somebody who agreed to an interview with myself for the Orca.
Oh, well, he wasn't terrified of you like John Horgan, cowering in the West Annex, hiding behind his little fireplace. I hope that Maclean doesn't interview me. I'm John Horgan.
Much like I would have had with the Premier, Prime Minister Martin and I had a very pleasant chat.
Oh, well, shocking. And frankly, Maclean, you're nowhere near as scary as Fletcher or Palmer. I don't know what the problem is over there. But you are scarier than Shannon Waters, I'll give you that. All right, back to Morneau and Trudeau. For Trudeau, he used to say, the budget will balance itself. And now, 5 years later, we have Morneau saying, it's hard work to do a budget. Which one is it, boys? Is it hard work or is it going to balance itself? I think we all know the truth. You've taken some of the best economic prosperity days in Canadian history. You've squandered them. You've led us into deficit. And heaven forbid, if the predictions of recession or worldwide economic issues come true, Canada will be in a bad place for it.
And even Santa Claus is saying you can't just keep making more toys.
Yes. Also, asterisk, blackface, but that's all I'll say about that.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Well, that was you segged nicely into a naughty. We have another nice, I think.
Yes, we do. We have two more nice. Nice list. I wanted to pick someone from the BC Liberal opposition. I thought Andrew Wilkinson made big gains this year. I know that a number of the MLAs, they seem to have found their feet in question period. Santa would pop popcorn at the North Pole and take a little break and watch the 20 minutes of theater that was question period, plus the 5 minutes that the Greens wasted every day. Jazz Joe Hall, though, I would have to say, really carried the mail for the opposition. He was a reliable go-to guy, former investigative journalist, so he knows how to ask a pointed question. Also knows how to get under a politician's skin because he was media, and by definition, they get under the skin of politicians. Much like you got under the skin of John Horgan this year, to the point where he won't sit down with you. I'm presuming that's why. I'm presuming it's cowardice and not just rash incompetence, because John Horgan lives, 5 minutes away from the legislature and could meet you today for an interview if he wanted. But whatever, John Horgan, you just double down on that nonsense. Jazz Joe Hall, nice list. Well done, Jazz. Landslide Jazz won Richmond Queensborough by 87 votes. I'm going to go out on a limb, Maclean. I'm going to predict that he wins by at least 100 votes next time.
Wow. That's like a 20% improvement.
Santa's amusing himself with that joke. Merry Christmas, Jazz. Jazz is also, I know, an avid reader of the Orca Cupies. Mainly because he sometimes stars in them. But what do you expect? That's what politicians are. It is a beauty pageant for ugly people. But Jazz, you're one of the prettiest.
That should be the line that would wrap it up. But we do have more to go. And
well, speaking of ugly. Speaking of ugly,
you're doing a great Andrew Weaver impression. I have to say.
Speaking of ugly, Maclean.
Kind of a tenny.
How could I ever pick, if I was doing an Andrew Weaver impression, how could I ever pick on that wonderful man, John Horgan? Sure, he ducks interviews from young media outlets and tech-savvy people like Maclean. But other than that, he's such a wonderful human, I couldn't possibly oppose his reckless agenda. Anyways, all right. I would also then bang the table anytime you talked, but I would be the only person in the room doing so, much like Andrew Weaver in question period when poor Adam or Sonia have to get up. I should put Adam and Sonia on the nice list for putting up with Andrew Weaver for all these years. Well done, you two. I'll shake the bell for you. All right.
Andrew Weaver sat down for an interview with me. So
exactly. He's not.
He has on several occasions.
You should ask him if he could get his best buddy Horgan to sit down with you, or if Horgan's too busy cowering in the closet. All right. John Horgan and Claire Trevina, speaking of them, definitely on the naughty list. And, look, Santa believes in fairness, and openness, and transparency. That's why I'm here talking about my nice and naughty list, open and transparent. If you want to appeal anything on the nice and naughty list, send your emails to maclean@theorca.ca. Not to me, I'm too busy. But anyways, Horgan and Trevina,
forward them.
Their plan to grow the construction industry and grow the young talent in construction is to cut out 85% of the construction workforce from certain contracts and 81% of the apprentices. Riddle me this, Maclean, riddle me this. How does that grow construction if you're cutting out 85% of the industry and 81% of the apprentices?
That's tricky math to do. Even though I'm sick, I think even at full capacity, I'm not sure I could make that work.
I don't like it. It's wrong. It's a wrong-headed decision. It's expensive. I noticed it was on the questions you would have asked the premier if he was not so chicken and hiding away from stuff. Nonetheless, there you go. All right, but Horgan and Trevina, look, we get it. Everyone in politics, you have your base. Andrew Weaver has his little green base, and the BC Liberals have their base of people who want lower taxes and less government waste and whatnot. And John Horgan and Claire Trevina have the union base. We get that, but to actually cut out 85% of construction workers, to try to revert us to a 1970s style of bidding on contracts does not make sense. And then to try to invoke the name of another great old guy, W.A.C. Bennett, to try to defend it, who existed in a completely different time of construction and claim that somehow he would be in favor of these kind of agreements today, which we know is not true. Brad Bennett, his grandson, wrote for the Orca and said as much. He believed in the value of $1. So does Santa. So do taxpayers. This plan violates that. So definitely on the naughty list. And that is all. One nice left.
And I was going to say, if my math is correct, and this is simple math, so I probably have this one right, there's just one nice left.
One nice left. And it's, first of all, there's a 1A and 1B. Maclean, this will surprise you. I did not send this to you earlier. But you, Maclean, you are on the nice list.
Oh,
that's 1A. For all your fine work at the Orca this year, Santa is a subscriber to the Fin. Santa reads everything every morning. Santa listens to the whole podcast fleet. Even when Jody Vance fights Density in Kitsilano, Santa listens. Even when underscore Affleck reminds me of the underscore, I listen. I enjoy it thoroughly.
I like the underscore.
You know how many communications officers we have at the North Pole? None.
How many?
None.
Really?
It's just me. I'm there by the phone. I just answer. It's easy.
Am I not allowed to drink this then?
43. I'll say 43 communications so you can have a sip of that Christmas water, whatever you're drinking there.
It is Christmas water. It is.
The whole team at the Orca love reading Daniel Marshall's things. He calls it history. I call it current events. All those good people.
You're going to love this weekend's piece then. It's about Christmas Day.
Ooh, excellent. I will love that. Anyways.
Fantastic.
Looking forward to reading that. All the fine contributors, Ada and Bob and all of the rest. Thank you for all the fine work you're doing. Jordan Bateman, he's average. And then the Orca readers, that's 1B. Thank you to all of you who are reading the Orca, who engage on our Facebook page, who put up with the nonsense on this Hot Stove podcast and the even more malarkey that they put on Unspun. We appreciate it. Thank you very much. And you're all on the nice list, unless you're wearing yoga pants and are the Attorney General.
Well, I echo your up to the part about the yoga pants and the Attorney General. Thank you, everyone.
Feel free to echo it. Feel free to echo that part.
Free echo. Well, it's he did look good in the yoga pants. Mrs. Eby cannot be blamed. Look, this has been another great year on the Orca, and thank you everyone for watching and listening and reading, and a lot more ahead in 2020.
Merry Christmas to all, and to all
a good night.
a good night. Ho ho ho!